folks, we're here with Ryan Brutt at the MCACN 2023, and he is in charge of putting all this together, the awesome barn find section. And you guys, I'm sure, know him well from his channel, Auto Archaeology, and he finds some insane stuff. He's got his book for sale. Ryan, where can they find this book online?
You can find both of my books available on Amazon or motorbooks.com, which I think it's actually called Quarto Motor now, something like that. Okay. You Google my name and you'll find me. I whore myself out everywhere.
So, how many years have you been doing this? The barn find section at least. Of MCACN.
If you want the whole history of the barn find section, actually is pretty quick. In 2011, we had, or the show had, I wasn't involved as a event organizer at the time. We had one 67 Corvette, 427 tri-power, 4-speed, and it was legitimate barn find, snow tires, the whole bit, and people loved it. It was one of the favorite cars of the event. And so Bob and I had a friendship. Bob Ashton runs the show. We had a friendship from Hot Rod Power Tour, and so he's like, hey, I know you do this stuff. Do you want to do a small section at MCACN? I'm like, sure. Well, what do you think? He's like, oh, let's start small. We'll do, in this area, we'll do one side. He's like, get some of your friends together, get the barn finds. So every car in here was a friend of mine that was a car that I had found in my travels. And it was such a huge success, and people ranted and raved in a good way about it, that they gave me the other side of this aisle area. And so basically this entire area for the last little over a decade has been mine to organize and control. Normally we try to go for between 22 and 25 cars. That's always not a problem to hit. We always try to find quality, nice, cool barn finds. People either contact us through the MCACN website, or in my adventures I can submit them into the system. But this year, usually August, September is when barn finds, what we call is fill up or gets near the end. Well, we had 28 cars in June, which was a little bit of a surprise. So we were way ahead of schedule. I'm like, well, we can't close it. Obviously, there's other stuff that's going to come out of the woodwork. And it did. Every car in here is something special, something unique, some sort of crazy story. And I'm glad we left that open, because as of right now, we had 38 cars signed up and only one canceled.
Oh, wow. And I see you had to have the overflow on the other side of the curtain this year. Probably have, what, 4 cars over there?
Yeah, we have 5 cars on the other side of the curtains. We have 2 cars on 2 spots at the end of this aisle. And then we have 2 more barn finds in the lobby because we ran out of room. But fortunately, it's a Hemi CUDA and a 340 CUDA, so it's pretty cool. You think at some point you're going to take over that whole section behind us there going towards the refreshment stand? Unfortunately not. That's actually smaller than this area.
No, not included this and that.
Oh, this and that? You know, we did think about that, but unfortunately the guy who's a sponsor who's across from us would cut this in half, so it doesn't flow very well. So that's not going to be an option. But barn finds is the largest section of the show this year, and most years in general. So trying to find a spot for it, like I said, we have about 37 cars right now. The next biggest section, which is Zone 4, which is just kitty corner from us, it has all the Colonnade era stuff. They can only hold 33 cars in there. So this couldn't even fit over there. Right. And it's the next largest section. So it's a very difficult situation. They're extremely popular because, I mean, finding them in that condition, to still sitting like that, and have some of them having been sitting there like that for 40, 50 years, it's just, it's way more interesting a lot of times than seeing all these restored cars that have already been found, already had their day, and these are just freshly pulled out of barns and garages or whatever. And people just really enjoy your show, Auto Archaeology, and all the things you find. And you just find some insane stuff. And I was able to purchase his book yesterday, and I started reading that last night. Really good book, by the way. Oh, thank you. And I love the photos and all the descriptions and everything. And it was cool because I didn't know your backstory of how you actually got into cars and everything. And you said you were into trains and stuff as a teen, and didn't even get into cars until, what, your late teens? Yep. Was getting his car radio repaired, and saw a 71 CUDA between these 2 stalls, which happens to be my favorite car as well. So I can totally appreciate that. And I had a CUDA that just
changed my world back in 1990 when I saw one for sale. And I don't know how
cool.
I don't know how they flew under the radar on my head, because I've always been into cars, but I was always into like Mustangs and stuff for the longest time.
I'm sorry.
Till I saw this CUDA that was for sale, and it was just a street beast, day 2 street beast. And
that's cool.
It just changed my world at that moment. So I've loved them ever since. 71 CUDAs especially. But so that got really jump-started you into cars.
Yep.
And you must have a mind like a vault, because you're so knowledgeable in all the episodes you do and everything. And it's just crazy to me that you got into it so late in your life, but you're so knowledgeable on these cars. And I really appreciate that. And I wish I had your type of memory, because I've come across stuff like that. I've come across facts and all that stuff, but if I don't use it all the time, I can't recall it a lot of times later down the road when I need to. But yeah, you're extremely knowledgeable on that. And
well, I'm fortunate enough that I don't have a life, so I read a lot. But the funny thing is, like, names, they go out the door. You tell me your name's Steve, 2 seconds later I'm like, who are you again?
I'm exactly the same way.
But if you tell me you had a 69 Chevelle ISS 396 black that you drove in high school and had cheater slicks on it, I'll remember that forever.
That's exactly the way I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come up to you in a month and be like, oh, how's that? Do you ever follow up on that Chevelle or something? I'll
even relate to my wife, like years ago. I'm like, yeah, that's where that orange 69 Camaro was in the backyard. She's like, how do you remember this stuff? I'm like, that I remember.
It's the important things we remember.
Stuff like that.
We must know where the rusty junk is. That's the key.
Exactly. So are your favorite cars still, I guess, Mopars, because of that CUDA?
Well, and I mean...
And you find so many Mopars anyway, and more than anything, it seems like.
I do find a lot of Mopars, but also there's a lot more Mopars out there to be found. Because I was talking to people earlier, is like Chevy Camaros and Ford Mustangs, even when new, the aftermarket was supporting them because they were such popular cars.
Yeah.
Like, I know I heard from like Rick Schmidt from MDD, like they were reproducing like Mustang quarter panels for like 68 Mustangs in 68 already. Like, you could get parts for Mustangs new when they were still being made.
Right.
I mean, and it's never stopped. So you didn't need, like, for a Mopar guy, if you had one nice CUDA, there was no aftermarket support up until recently. So you needed 3 or 4, 5 parts cars to keep one car going. So now, just over 40, 50 years, those collections have now become barn finds and junkyard finds and all that, and become much more desirable.
And you would think you would actually find a lot more Mustangs and Mustang parts because of how many they made early off. I mean, literally, a couple million total production is more than any other car. And
but just think, you see a lot more at car shows and at cruisins because many of them are still on the road. I mean, if they weren't worth saving, they were crushed.
Yeah.
And if they were worth saving, they're in collections, they're in garages. There's a lot less junk ones because the spectrum is far more at the end. Same thing with like a 69 Camaro or something like that. Yeah. You either have junk, like junk, or you have nice, like, that's why there's, a million red 69 Camaro SS's at every car show, because they're all on the road.
Exactly. Man, well, it has been great talking to you, and we just wanted to catch up with you and just pick your brain a little bit about what you do here at MCACN, and we do appreciate all you do, and just keep those videos coming for us and keep those books coming for us.
I'm going to try. Thanks for coming, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.